This is what it looks like when over 100 Cessnas arrive at Oshkosh after their formation flight to AirVenture. It's the conclusion of months of preparation, planning and training, and it's what many participants of this formation fly-in say is a fun and maybe an easier alternative to the FISK arrival, which is how most pilots arrive in Oshkosh.
This is the way to go.
It's more controlled and more managed.
It is the safest way to arrive into AirVenture.
This, I think, is a lot less risky. You know where the planes are going to be. You don't have to worry about anyone kind of cutting in front of you.
It's a nice safety improvement, I think, over doing the FISK arrival because it's less frenetic, perhaps, a little more coordinated.
We usually know what's going to happen on this one a little bit more.
Back in 2019, I tried to fly to Oshkosh with the Cessna formation group, but massive amounts of rain got the field so wet that most people's plans for that first weekend changed, including the big mass arrivals. In 2021, I was again invited to come along, and this year things worked out much better. The staging ground for the group is Juneau, Wisconsin, just 34 miles south of Oshkosh. On Saturday morning, they have a detailed briefing to make sure everyone is on the same page for the flight.
Okay. At 13:45, I need you to be up on your radio, ready to combo check. We're going to start taxiing at 13:50 off the west ramp. Okay, first element takeoff will be approximately 2 p.m. And the first element landing will be approximately 2:30. So it's about a 28-minute flight for the 150s, and it's going to be a 19-minute flight for the 210s. Ideally, what we're going to do is we're going to start off this big. We're going to have 150s in the front flying 80 knots, and we're going to have 210s and Corvallises and Mixmasters in the back flying at 120 knots. So they're overtaking the leads. But we start off this big, and when we get to Oshkosh, we're this big. That's why speed is absolutely paramount. If you've been briefed for 100 knots, I need you to fly 100 knots, not 105, not 92. 100 knots, the best you can. Altitude, en route altitude is going to be 2,000 feet. That's going to be 1,200 feet AGL for those with radar altimeters. It'll be beautiful views. Unfortunately, you're not going to see it. If you're flying the aircraft, you're not going to see the beautiful view. All you're going to see is lead, right? Never take your eyes off lead. Remember the slideshow during the training clinics? I guarantee you, if you go, hey, look at that spotted cow over there, and you come back, lead's not going to be there. They're going to be here, they're going to be there, they're going to be back there. Okay, you've got to keep your eyes on lead.
After the briefing, the pilots get their Cessnas ready. I'm flying in a beautiful Cardinal with Gil Hamilton. We ended up spending more time on the ground than in the air. It's a short flight, but getting everybody ready to take off takes some time. First there's a roll call and radio check, and then the planes taxi to the departure runway.
Yeah, Delta's on the end of the west ramp, following the Cherokees.
The slower airplanes, like Cessna 150s and 172s, which will fly to Oshkosh till they get 80 knots, will take off first, followed by the Cardinals, which fly at 90 knots, then the 182s at 100 knots, and finally the Centurions and Twins at 120 knots. In between these groups there are short gaps, such that by the time they arrive in Oshkosh they will have caught up with the respective group in front of them.
One on the end of the runway.
Someone should get a photo.
Victor 3, are you ready?
Yes, are you ready?
Rodney, should Victor 2 launch? Victor group taxi out?
Yeah, Victor group can taxi out. Yeah, everything we're launching now is with written. West ramp. And shooter, you're cleared to take off. Zulu 1, 2, and 3, y'all are out. Alpha 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead, taxi on out.
Man, we're on it.
All right, I know you are. Tell you, you Cardinal guys. One of these days we're going to change our name to Cardinal to Oshkosh.
We're here for you, buddy.
Bravo 1, 2, and 3. Are you taxiing out? On the move, Bravo. Bravo 2's on the move. Bravo 3 on the move. Hey, Charlie, 1, 2, and 3. Y'all see where you're going? Charlie 1 on the move.
Charlie 2, moving.
Charlie's going.
Move up, I think.
This is Alpha 1.
Whiskey 1 coming out.
At last, we are in the air.
Ups 10. The Cardinal ramp looks like it's unstacking itself just fine without my interference, so y'all keep doing what you're doing.
Alpha 3. Alpha 2. Delta 2.
Delta 3, are you coming out?
Delta 3. Echo 1.
Echo 2 is right behind him.
Echo 3.
Cardinal, you got the ramp.
It's a bumpy afternoon. I have a nice camera of close-up footage, but I'm having a hard time holding it steady to get a nice shot. Gil has one hand on the yoke and the other one on the throttle at all times. Flying formation isn't exactly sitting back and relaxing. There are constant adjustments needed to match the plane in front of us.
Clear taxi, Golf 1.
Golf 1 is holding short at southwest parking.
You're going to last loop.
Inside. Golf 1. Golf 2 right behind Golf 1.
Golf 3 is up in the northwest where the Cardinals were. Spare the horses.
Hotel 1, with the RC.
Over on the west ramp? Yes, sir.
Before long, the runway at Oshkosh comes into view.
Golf 1 is pulling out.
Golf 2 are right behind him. Moving, and Golf 3, go ahead, come on. See now, here. Ramp, is it? Affirmative. Okay, good. There's a red and white 210, I assume. Wait, the parallel. Make it 1 flap.
And we're here! We taxi over to the west side of the field to park just south of runway 927. All the Cessnas are parking here, so that the pilots can be together during AirVenture. Later, there's a group dinner. And food seems to be one of the biggest logistical challenges when bringing a group of this size to Oshkosh, as I learned when I spoke with the leadership team of Cessnas-2-Oshkosh.
We had 115 aircraft. Our biggest year to date has been 89. So you're talking 26 additional aircraft, 26 bigger than we've ever been. And every one of those aircraft have 1 or 2 people in it. So you're talking upwards of 50, maybe a little more people. So everything got big. We had a larger number of aircraft, we had a larger number of people. You have a bigger logistics train to feed people, to cater food, to make sure they have drinks, seats. everything just gets bigger. And I think that was probably the biggest challenge, was just everything got bigger. We didn't have any big problems. It's just there was more effort required to feed 225 people versus 150 or 160.
And I believe these mass arrivals were born somewhat out of necessity, right? Because the type clubs wanted to camp together, and if I recall, EAA said if you want to do that, you have to fly in together. Is that how this started?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
We want to be together, we have to fly in together.
Right. And it's the Cessna pilots who do that, but there's also behind us is a group of Bonanzas, and I believe there's a group of Pipers doing
There'll be a group of Moonies on the other side of the Bonanzas. There's a group of Cherokees over there about a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And that's the Cherokees, the Moonies, the Cessnas, and the Bonanzas. Those are the four big type groups.
Craig, any surprises that you ran into today, or anything that you'll bring back home for as a lasting memory of 2021?
Yes, the amount of food that we're putting out and having to gather up to feed all these people. It's a big jump. It's about threefold actually in numbers. Usually it's about 100, 110. And on Friday night it was 182.
We went just this evening. It was a hasty dinner. Just to kind of throw together impromptu dinner, and the girl at the grocery store just about panicked. Well, she did panic when I said I need 400 pieces of chicken. Yeah, everything just scales up bigger, and I know we always come back to the food, but Oshkosh is airplanes, airplanes, airplanes interrupted by meals. That's what Oshkosh is.
And the number of people is large. I spoke to a few of them in Juneau on the ramp before we flew to Oshkosh today, and here's what people said.
My name's Mike Wilson. I'm from New Jersey.
Good morning, I'm Javier, and this is my wife Denise, and we've got this beautiful Cardinal here at Cessnas-2-Oshkosh. Cessnas-2-Oshkosh.
My name is Frank Hummel. I'm from Woodinville, Washington, and fly out of Payne Field in Everett, Washington.
Hi, my name is Chris Berg, and I'm based out of Manassas, Virginia.
Hi, I'm George Moore. I'm half owner of this Cessna 182. It's a 1980 182Q.
I've flown the mass arrival with Cessnas-2-Oshkosh probably 8 or 10 times.
I have participated in Cessnas-2-Oshkosh and the mass arrival numerous times and look forward to it every year.
This is my first year flying in the Cessnas-2-Oshkosh. We tried last year, but unfortunately, COVID. Really looking forward to this. I was able to do the formation training twice. I did it last year, and then, like I said, COVID, unfortunately, and we did it again.
We looked at the options of doing the FISK arrival or coming with this group. This is the way to go. If you've ever thought about coming up here and it's your first time, consider joining one of the multiple groups that have the mass arrivals, whether it's the Bonanzas or the Cessnas. And it's very well organized. This team is phenomenal, very professional in terms of safety and organization, and we certainly encourage you to try that.
This is an alternative to flying the FISK arrival, which is sort of the VFR arrival that all other aircraft will approach Oshkosh in. The mass arrival allows us common types like Cessnas or Beechcrafts or Cherokees to fly together in formation. We get to take over the airport for a short period of time while all of the arrivals in formation make their way from here to Oshkosh one at a time and land there.
I enjoy flying it because I was interested in the formation flying aspect of it and the challenge of doing something different. But I've learned over the years that also the camaraderie is a big part of it, and coming back every year and seeing the same people and renewing some once a year friendships that have developed over time.
I also, several years ago, started leading the Pacific Northwest Cessnas-2-Oshkosh formation mass arrival training clinic. I usually conduct that every early June, out of Olympia Airport in Washington State. We've had as few as 6 participants and as many as 23, I think is the largest clinic I had a few years ago. It's always a lot of fun. Everyone comes well prepared and dedicated and committed to a day of training. We always have a blast doing it.
the Cessnas-Oshkosh training, I think, is great. It really does a great, you get a lot of training in flying close quarters, and knowing and understanding where you need to be, how you need to be, and also, power control as well. So like I said, it's my first year. I'm very excited. And, this group has just been so welcoming. Everyone I've met in this organization has been great.
So yeah, this group, Cessnas-Oshkosh, has been amazing. Their focus on safety is extraordinary, and I really appreciate that. Doing all the training back home, they have training programs that happen over the course of the early summer to make sure that everybody involved gets thoroughly trained in the formation flying and the procedures. And so when we get here, it's well rehearsed and therefore safe and smooth.
And we do the training beforehand all around the country, so it's a safe organization. And another thing, the camaraderie. So we only come up here once a year. However, when we have groups that are in Texas that will say, hey, let's gather somewhere to go have lunch on this Saturday. So we have fly-ins, local fly-ins, not connected to Cessnas-to-Oshkosh, but nonetheless, it keeps that camaraderie going over the 12 months.
And it just seems we're going to be able to all go in together and camp together. It just seems going to be phenomenal. And one of the main reasons why I decided to do this is one, you're going to get to know a lot of the same people in the make and model of your airplanes. We'll be camping with, 182s and Cardinals, Cessna people. And then also, the safety factor of it. So that's kind of the reasons why I'm going with Cessna-Oshkosh. Can't wait, and looking forward to doing the arrival.
The camaraderie and the social aspects of this mass arrival just can't be beat. And that's why I keep coming back year after year.
Rodney, people seeing this video might be interested in how can we join this? What does it take to become a formation pilot and fly into Oshkosh with Cessnas-to-Oshkosh? What would they have to go through?
Okay, the first place to start would be our website. And our web address is www.Cessnas-2-Oshkosh.com, and it's a fabulous resource developed by Gil there that is more than comprehensive enough to give you all the information necessary to make an informed decision whether or not you want to do this. And I think if you're a pilot and if you want to come to Oshkosh, this is the way to do it.
Craig, I understand besides this fly-in, the organization also has started to do some charitable work. Can you talk about that, please?
Yes, this year we have we started being a 501c3, and in order to give back to the youth at the EAA, and that's the Air Academy youth group that they have a training program each year. So we're starting that this year.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, it's been a fabulous day. Thank you very much for letting me be part of this. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested, you have the website. Take a look at it, and maybe next year you'll fly into Oshkosh with the Cessna group. Take care. Bye-bye.